don't do that to people. Like, these are your friends.
Your friend, they'll be there after the wedding.
They are your friends. Why would you do that to your friends? If they were distant people that you don't even care about, maybe. But I can't imagine doing that to my friends and being like, oh, okay, pay for the Airbnb while someone else is paying for it.
Yeah, and the money that they paid doesn't even go to the Airbnb.
It doesn't even go to the Airbnb.
Shalom, hurry up.
Coming.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. This is Michelle, one of your hosts here, and I'm excited to bring a very special guest, highly requested by another guest as well, my dear friend Faith Chekhanetsa. For now.
Hi everyone. I'm finally on the podcast.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Like, you guys are really doing well. It's really nice to see people going after the things that they're actually really passionate about and getting some fulfillment from it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been great. Like I remember like sitting on this couch and then I just be on YouTube like on my thing. I'm just like, actually, let me tune into Faith's YouTube, and I just be like, oh,
Please
wow.
don't say that. Please don't say. Every time when someone like messages me, they're like, "Oh, Faith, when are you coming back on YouTube?" I feel really bad because I feel like I'm letting people down or I'm letting myself down. It's something that I really enjoyed, but it's just exhausting to think about doing it all over again.
Yeah, because I know we're talking like off camera and stuff, and you know, like it was more like the editing process.
Yeah, the editing is, guys, people that do YouTube full time, I applaud them.
Yeah.
I don't even know how people do it. Maybe when you grow and you're getting a lot of money from it, you can invest in people recording and editing for you. But the editing process for me is just what kills me. I just feel mentally drained right now thinking of sitting down and editing a video. The recording part, it's very easy because it's just you yourself behind a camera and just being yourself, being authentic. But the minute that you sit down and you think, oh, what song would be going with this scene? Oh, how should I transition from this clip to that clip? Like all that goes into it. It's just what's exhausting.
Do you believe in astrology?
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay.
Why do you ask?
You know what people are
Girl,
just
don't
like,
tell me you believe in that.
no, I don't. But sometimes when people say things, you're just like, should I just ask? Because you know, people just ask.
No, not my cup of tea. I would never believe in that. You know, like sometimes when I'm scrolling through TikTok, there are these TikTokers that do these readings and they just pop up on your TikTok.
Yeah.
I scroll as fast as I can, like really quick away from that.
You know what I did? I went on TikTok and I created filters. So I put in the words astrology and stuff.
Really, you can do that?
Yeah.
I think I need to, because some random weird things show up on my TikTok. I'm like, how does this even show up on my For You page?
Yeah.
How is this even for me? I don't even believe in this.
Yeah, because I always put the filters. Then when I see the video, instead of scrolling away, I press it. And you know how it says report whatever?
Yeah.
I looked at where it's like, I'm not interested in this. And I press that. So the algorithm knows exactly what I'm not interested in.
I need to start doing that.
Because mine now is literally just Christian content and then like beauty and stuff. I'm like, yep, this is what I want.
I need to the thing is, I can't really change my TikTok because I feel like it's not my TikTok. It's Cooper and I's TikTok. He also watches stuff on my same as my Instagram. He is not really like much into social media. So he uses my TikTok and my Instagram.
Yeah.
So you would see random stuff like NBA and stuff on my For You page. I'm like, I can't ever filter it because it's two people using the same account.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Why don't you just have another account? And then there's just like a thing that nobody...
Because apparently my phone is the junk phone. my phone is the one that's used for everything, for content and social media. His phone is, don't touch my phone. This is business phone.
That is funny. Yeah, I don't think I would ever share like social media like that because I know
Really?
because I'm just like, yeah, it would just literally be NBA
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then like certain podcasts are just like, what the heck is
yeah.
this? Like, I don't care about Charlemagne
You
or
know, the
anything.
thing is, once you've been with someone for a while, even the things that you wouldn't think you would be interested in,
You get into it.
you get into it. Like, I have never been into sport.
Really?
Never. I never played sport in high school. Never. Cooper is actually the one who introduced me to working out.
Yeah.
It never was my thing. But once you've been with someone for a long time, certain things just start appealing to you. I don't even mind these days sitting and watching the NBA. In as much as it's still annoying,
Yeah.
it just feels normal and natural.
Yeah, that makes sense. I love basketball, but I can't watch like a full match.
Yes,
I rather
I've
watch
noticed like
highlights.
you posting about basketball, and are you into Formula One too?
No, I'm not into Formula One. That's something like a few friends have told me to get into,
Yeah,
but I was like, I really don't like watching sports in like I'd rather be like at the stadium and watch a sport.
yeah, yeah,
But from like home, I'm just like, just give me the highlights. I just watch highlights and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
it. So
yeah,
that I'm aware what's happening.
yeah,
But I do like sport a lot because I used to play basketball in high school,
yeah.
then track. I did a bit of netball, volleyball. I did every sport there.
Everything. You do have the height, so you can do anything.
Yeah, but then I think I went to a really small school, so I had to do all sports. But my
Yeah.
favorite one was archery, so that's the sport I was kind of stuck around
Yes, you
with.
mentioned that before. Have you come to the one in Olympic Park?
Yeah, I've come it a few times.
When? And you didn't even bother to tell me
No, this
that.
was before we talked about it. That's
All
when I
right.
went. I
Yeah.
haven't gone back recently because I'm like,
Yeah.
that's far, but then it's close to your house. I'm like, oh, when I think about going, I'm just like, okay, I'll definitely invite you.
Because I haven't been. I've never done archery before.
Yeah,
And it's weird because it's right next to my house, but I've never.
it's pretty fun. I think it's one of those sports for me where just like I just concentrate on like a target,
Yeah.
so it kind of blocks my mind from like everything else, just
Yeah.
silences. But it's a really fun sport.
I would really be interested in trying. Next time, please tell me. I
Yeah,
want to come try.
I will tell you. So now that we're on this topic of Cooper and congratulations.
Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
getting married.
Look at God is good, guys. God is amazing, you
I
know.
know. I know. It's one of those things that like you always have to stop and be like, oh, God is good.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things that happen to us that we have prayed for before, but when they happen, sometimes we forget to just stop and say, God, really? Thank you.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we just get too caught up in the moment that we actually forget to be like, I've prayed for this before.
True. And you guys are both Zimbabwean.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if you've ever seen like those TikToks where it's like Zimmen are the worst, Zimmen, the Zimmen, there's Australian Zimmen, all of
Well,
that. And I want to know your opinion because like for both of us, we're very blessed. We're just like,
you know
Lord,
what?
no comment.
I think it's not just Zimmen.
Yeah.
It's every nationality. Like, I don't even know if it's appropriate for me to make this comment, but men are dogs, but you find your own that you can tame. Like,
Funny.
so it's not even like a, oh, Zim man or Nigerian man,
Yeah.
but you just have to find your own
Person, yeah.
who you can tolerate. Like you can't really put a tag on, oh, Zim man at this. But maybe they're really bad in Australia. I wouldn't know. I thought it was actually Nigerian man because I've been told that like Nigerian men are really, really bad in Australia.
Yeah, but I agree with you. And I don't know about the taming thing because I don't tame anybody.
Ah, you lie, Michelle.
I do not tame.
Let me tell you the honest truth. In as much as you say you don't tame anyone, It just happens. Like I was saying earlier,
Yeah.
there are certain things that never used to appeal to you that will start appealing to you
That's true.
because you're always around that person.
Yeah.
That's taming. There are certain things you never used to do that you now do because your partner always does them.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
I know what you mean. But I
So,
guess
like,
that's
you
more,
start becoming
yeah,
more like that person.
that's true. But then wouldn't that be more, I guess, like when people hear taming, it's kind of like the word submission, that people are like, oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, I
But I
guess.
guess more so it's like more compromising. Like the things I'm like, I really don't like to do,
Yeah.
but because
You,
that person loves it
yeah.
and and they really enjoy it, I'm like, you know what? Because I love you,
Yeah. I'll just do
I'll
it.
do it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's honestly what makes a relationship work. Like, in as much as people are like, oh, I'm my own person, you're your own person, you do me, I do you. But I feel like for a relationship to work, you really have to compromise.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're your own person, girl, but like some things you have to compromise. Like, if that's what makes him happy, then it doesn't kill you. Like,
Do it.
it
Yeah.
doesn't kill you to go with him to a game if that's what he enjoys. Or it doesn't kill you to go out with him and the boys if that's what he enjoys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's honestly just compromising.
Yeah. I agree. Have you watched The Ultimatum?
No, but I've been seeing a lot of
Oh my
people posting
God.
about it. And don't give me spoilers because I actually want to watch
See, I
it.
really wanted to discuss the ultimatum today because you know when you start talking to yourself, like you're in the shower, you have
Yeah.
a moment and you start debating
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah,
I was analyzing every single character,
yeah.
and I was just like, this show is really good.
You should have told me to watch it. What's the plot? Because I know the Ultimatum one, the one in America.
Yeah.
It's like two people that have been dating for a long time, but the guy hasn't proposed, and then the girl or the guy gives an ultimatum to say it's either we get married
Yeah.
or we break up.
It's
Yeah.
everything.
Is it the same thing?
It's the same thing, but this is South Africa version.
Yeah,
So you already know coming back from
It's on
home.
steroids.
It's different. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah. So I don't want to spoil things for you,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm just like, the characters are something else. Because
How many couples are in it?
how many couples? So there's our favorite, Kanya.
Yeah.
And she's coming up with this guy called Kautalke. I cannot pronounce them. I'm just going to call him N.
Yeah.
Then there's another couple. So that's four. I think about six couples
Yeah.
total.
Yeah.
6, 7, if I'm not mistaken.
How
Yeah.
many episodes does it have? Is it something I can like watch through the night?
You won't stop watching it when you
Yeah.
start. That's the thing. You will
Okay.
not stop.
So it's a thing I need to start a Friday, maybe next week Friday.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you. I'll be like, girl.
Yeah. I watched it and I was so like, I think for me it was really the last episode that did me in. Because I put like a poll on Instagram,
Yeah.
particularly on what people feel about like
Promise rings.
Yeah, because that last episode, I was like, no matter how much I hate a character, the way that thing happened, I was like, nah, I'm actually on that.
What did
Yes,
people say on your poll about promise rings? Like, what do people really think about promise rings?
It was mainly girls. The guys were the guys were quiet. The girls were like, nah, just either you get engaged with each other or you don't. Like, there's no in between. Like, you know. How do you feel about promise rings?
I'm also for it's either we're getting engaged
Yeah.
or no. But on the other side, it's like, okay, if we have a plan, like, you were saying, or we want to do certain things before we get married, like, or get a house or like travel.
Yeah.
If we are on the same page, right?
Yeah.
And we know we are for each other. And then me as the guy, I'm like, okay, I want to give something to my girl to say, we're on the same page, we've talked about this, we've agreed on this, but I just want to give you something to reassure you that we'll get to that page.
Isn't that an engagement though?
But do you want to be engaged for 7 years?
I mean, that's a whole different story altogether. Like, my personal feelings is like, a promise ring is cute when you're in high school because then it's like, your bits, puppy love, future, if you guys stay together, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Like being in a Christian circle, we've heard about things like promise rings to God,
yeah, yeah,
and all of that. And that's a whole debate because there's a whole scandal, the whole promise ring
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I won't get into it. But when I feel like I'm 26, 27, a promise ring for what? Either we get engaged or not. I already know we're on the same page.
What if it's not a promise ring? What
Yeah.
if it's like a really expensive piece of jewelry?
Yeah.
Would that change anything? Like if he says, okay, I got you this as like a symbol of my love and like as something to just reassure you that you and I one day will get married. By the way, guys, I didn't get a promise ring. I feel like people will be like, why is she so passionate about promise rings?
I feel like for me, right, I guess everybody's different in their own dynamic in their own relationships. For me, I'm just like, just love me. Just show me love. Like you don't need this huge grand
Thing.
gesture,
Yeah.
like one time thing. Like
Yeah.
for me, it's like every day are you
Showing
loving
up.
me? Are you showing up? Are you being consistent? Are you being committed and stuff?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just like, there's no point in a promise ring if somebody's actually showing up for
Showing
you
up for
consistently.
you.
Because you're
Yeah.
not gonna have that doubt to be like, oh, are we ever gonna get married? Are we and all of that. So for me, I'm just like a promising is like a promise for a promise for the promise to get engaged.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. I mean, I love like gifts and stuff. No, who doesn't? But I'm just like, just be yourself throughout the whole thing. And
Yeah.
then once you decide to actually want to marry me, like,
Then we get married.
you know,
Makes sense. Well, I was just trying to fight for the other side, but I agree with you. It's either
yeah.
we're getting married and we get engaged, or we're just in love. No promise rings.
Yeah, because I've seen this, like, this has been the second reality TV show that's
Yes,
South African that
it
got
was on
rich,
Young, Rich, and Famous.
Yeah, and I saw that too. And I was just like, is this a thing?
Yes, I saw that too. Maybe it's a South African thing. We need to ask the South Africans, are you guys getting promise rings? Because
Yeah.
it was also on that Young, Rich, and Famous
Yeah, because
thing.
if you are, to me, I'm just like, no, 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 no. They're lying to you. They don't want to get married. They're just reassuring you so you feel comfortable so you don't bother them anymore.
Yeah, like maybe it's a South African thing because it was also on that show. And I remember, I thought it was actually you. I remember someone also put that poll before and they were like, no, it was Sipo. She
Yeah.
put up that poll and she was like, what do you guys think about promise rings? Because it seems like it's a thing.
Yeah.
People are getting promise rings.
And it always happens to like couples with conflicting values.
Yeah,
Or when
yeah.
the girl really wants, like, she wants to move in, she wants an engagement, she wants something.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, oh, nah,
He's
I
not
don't
really
know.
sure.
Yeah, so that's why I'm just like, nah. You need to be sure about me, or it's not gonna work.
Yeah,
You know?
true.
Yeah. I guess now I have a fun little game to get us started.
Yes.
We're gonna
What's the
do
game?
Am I the A-holes? Reddit stories.
What is that?
So we're talking about, since you are getting married, I
Yeah.
just saw it fitting for us to bask in wedding drama
Okay.
and
I love
hear
drama.
what people's opinions are.
Yes.
So I did prepare a few wedding drama questions, no questions, but stories.
Okay. Okay.
These are real people stories, by the way. Like,
Oh my
it's actually
God.
happening to real
Is it
people.
on? Where did you find them on Reddit? Or,
Reddit. So this is on Reddit, best Redditors updates. Bride made a profit on a bachelorette trip.
Bride made a profit.
On a bachelorette trip,
Okay.
sister-in-law drama.
Okay.
So it starts off by saying, I miss the days when bridesmaids were treated like people and not like stage props. My future sister-in-law is getting married, so of course I'm a default bridesmaid. She didn't give us options for the dress. She picked it out and told us it's the one we'll be wearing. The dress is strapless, backless, thigh slit, halter neck. I am a larger girl, triple D chest. Should explain why I don't want to wear backless or halter styles. Backless means I can't wear any form of supportive bra, and there's virtually no shapewear I can put underneath it. The only bras that work are stickies or tape, which do not hold me up in the least. I try the dress on, my chest is spilling out on the sides, back rolls are on full blast, and I'm popping out of this thing every which way. I'm so uncomfortable. I basically told the bride, sorry, I know it's your big day, but there's no way I'm wearing this dress. My body shape is different from the rest of the bridal party, and I can't justify wearing it. I told her I'd be fine if I can simply modify it to be more conservative at the back and chest. She declined and told me to just be more confident in myself because all the dresses must be identical for photos. I have no body confidence issues. There are plenty of styles that suit my figure. It just so happens that this dress was not made for larger women and does not look appropriate on my body. I want to drop out of the wedding, but my family insists I stay in it because it's my sister-in-law and it would ruin the wedding and the relationship. I don't get why I should have to be paraded around in front of my entire family, extended family, friends, colleagues, neighbors, etc. in an outfit that makes me comfortable. It's just getting ridiculous. And then it gives brides, please have enough text to make sure your girls are comfortable on your special day. We are humans. What do you think about this?
Well, the bride really does sound a bit on the bridezilla side.
Yeah.
Like she says, you know, your bridesmaids at the end of the day are human too, and you need to consider what makes them feel comfortable. Well, what I did, because I'm also like such a perfectionist, guys. Like I want things to look uniform. I want people to have the same type of hair, the same. But I really understood that people have different body types and they have different things that make them feel comfortable. So I found a website that had dresses that I really, really liked.
Yeah.
And then I sent the website to the group chat with the girls, and I was like, okay, girls, I want these dresses from Azazi. That's the website.
Yeah.
This is my color. Go find a dress in that color. So I said it has to be the same color and same material, but you can wear whatever dress you want.
Yeah.
Funny enough, they all ended up deciding on the same dress.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. I could have chosen this dress for you guys, but you chose it yourselves. So I think it's really like good to give your bridesmaids options, because in as much as it's your day, they also need to be comfortable to celebrate you. Like you wouldn't want someone feeling like they're half naked and they can't really dance or
They're just insecure.
exactly. So
Yeah, I feel a pain because there's certain styles I also can't wear because of like a bigger chest size and stuff. Where I'm just like, this look cute, like bundles, like strapless. I'm like, this is so cute, but I literally can't
wear
them.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm just like, I know it's gonna be a disaster. I'm like every single like thought in my brain is like something is an accident gonna happen. It's an accident. It's like you just feel not like you're in your own body anymore, you know? So I feel for her, but she does have a ton of updates actually. So let me go.
It gets worse.
It gets worse. First of all, thank you so much for all the support. I appreciate your helpful advice and suggestions. On that note, I've decided to stay in the wedding to avoid sending my mother to an early grave. However, I've also decided I'll be wearing the shit out of the dress and make sure the center of attention is not on the lovely bride.
my
I tried to resolve
God.
the issue with tact in class and was shot down. So I feel I've earned the right to be petty. I'm going to order some really specific shapewear, which can be concealed under what little material this dress has. Kudos to you all who send me suggestions. I'll be going full side boob, full shimmer, edit on the exposed back.
Okay, now we're really
Full
petty.
body oil on the legs for the thigh slit.
Oh my God.
I'll be doing an updo on the hair so that there's nothing getting in the way of the dress. I'll be wearing a shawl for everything else, but trust that for the ceremony, I'll be looking like Salma Hayek in Dusk Till Dawn. I need to look up what that is. Let's see what she thinks about this body confidence she asked me to find. Girl, please. If anyone's curious, I'll likely most come back in May to post my pics. Right?
Okay, now we're really being petty. Like, if I really have a problem with that. If you're not happy,
Yeah.
why not just get out of the bridal party?
Because family doesn't want her to get out. Mom doesn't want her to get out. She's becoming part of the family.
No, I don't agree with that because now it's like, okay, you don't want to listen to me. I'm going to hurt you. Like, I'm coming
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
That just goes against everything that I believe in. Like, if you're not happy, try again to raise your point. Like, if you're not happy, try as many times as possible to talk to the bride. There's really
Yeah.
no point in like coming out and saying, okay, I'm going to give you hell on your wedding day. Guys, a lot of planning goes into weddings. And I feel like if there's even one person at my wedding who says,
Yeah.
I'm just coming to give you hell, that would just be devastating.
Yeah, I agree with you. But then the bride kind of brought this upon herself because there are comments, right? So did she not go shopping with the bridesmaids to try on the dresses? I feel like this would have solved all the problems. It would have.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the post, I was like, nope, she chose one online, no consulting with any of the bridesmaids. I know a few of the other bridesmaids were irked because they would have liked to have a say in the dress, but ultimately no one else complained to her face. The rest of the group is fairly tiny, so I'm sure they're okay in the dress even if it's not their first choice. Yeah,
Makes sense, but I would still say try reason with the bride.
yeah,
Like, wear the dress and sure, the side boob and everything that's falling out, and be like, is this how you want me to look? If that's what you want me to look like, yeah, sure. But I don't think this looks right.
yeah.
Than to then say, I'm gonna go in and give a hell and I'm gonna show and like wear body shimmer and oil. Like, the the reasoning behind it is just not for me.
Yeah, but in a way, because I'm like, you're becoming a bride soon, right? So I'm gonna go in like as a devil's advocate here,
Yeah.
because I'm looking at it, I'm just like, right? Did she actually pay for all the dresses? I think that's a big part. Did she pay for
Is
this?
the bride paying for the dresses?
Let me see. Did they say that she paid? Did you give
Because
me?
if she's paying, then we can't really say anything because she's the one paying for them.
Yeah, I didn't. There's nothing saying about paying because then that will also make a difference.
Yeah.
Because if I'm paying to be a bridesmaid for like a dress, one
I
I'm
want to have a say in.
yeah, I want to have a
Yeah.
say because it's my money, and
Yeah.
two, I'm stuck with the dress afterwards as
Yeah.
well, you know. So I do need to have a say in this. So I'm kind of on the side in that. Obviously, I'm not petty enough to ruin somebody's like big day because then it's like everybody will look at me like the way she's thinking of this. Like I love petty people. I'm like, yeah, I love petty people. But when you really think about it, you're just like, you're only gonna be hurting yourself
Yeah.
because when you go on the day like that,
You're the
sure.
one who's looking ridiculous.
Yeah, and then like you're gonna hear comments from like your mother, and her mother, and
Yeah.
right, family, like, all those people you're worried about in the first place. Some of them are definitely gonna have like comments. Like it's obviously gonna hurt the bride, and you're gonna feel like that little like justification. But then at the same time, it's gonna be like there are gonna be other people in your back
Was it
because
worth it?
then you're gonna be like, oh, you just took it too far. But it is a hard situation because I'm like, if it was really me, I don't care who you are. I'll just be like, I'm not coming. Like, I'm not, put me as a guest because I don't want to do this. Like,
Exactly.
you know? But I guess every family dynamic is different because I know my family wouldn't force me like that because I'll be
Yeah.
like, no, like, I really don't want to do it. I can help, like, I can do the bridesmaid duties, but don't put me as a bridesmaid, you know.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
help you and on the day and stuff, but don't put me as a bridesmaid.
Yeah.
You don't have to be like obligated to.
It's hard, guys. It's hard being a bride.
Yeah.
Cut girl some slack.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you another bride. This is where the whole financial
Okay.
abuse
Is
comes
this
in.
the same person or a different person?
It looks like it's the same person. It might be a different person
Okay.
actually. Okay, so it says so much tea. I'm glad I can spill to my Reddit community because I can't gossip about it to my family. So, about 6 months ago, the bride planned her destination bachelorette trip and charged each of the 11 girls $650 for the Airbnb. I was salty about the high cost, but it's my sister in law. So I sucked it up and paid her.
Oh, wait. So the bride was doing the booking and then she just made the bridesmaids pay her.
Yeah, $650 for the Airbnb.
Okay.
Right. Little high for an
An
Airbnb.
Airbnb. Yeah.
Right, okay. I also was suspicious about the high price, so I did cross-check with Airbnb listing and it checked out. Yes, this B wanted a $2,300 night beachfront house.
Okay.
Okay. Well, today I'm chatting about the wedding stuff with my brother, who's marrying my future sister-in-law, and he said something along the lines of, "What a relief her dad paid for the Airbnb, because that would have been so expensive for your group."
Oh my God.
Yeah,
So she made them pay and
her,
the
her
the
dad
the
paid.
the dad paid.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I about choked. I said, "Hey, are you sure about that? Because all 11 girls paid $650 for the house alone. Maybe run it by her." His face turned purple, so I take it he had no idea. To add the greed going on here, when I got married, I flew her out, paid for her accommodations, paid hair and makeup, paid for her bridesmaid dress, and paid transportation because she was going through a hard time. Now she has the balls to steal from me. I get that are expensive, but don't have one if it requires stealing from your bridesmaids. I'm assuming I'm the only bridesmaid who is aware of what's going on here. Not sure if I should spill it to the group or just let
Spill,
it go.
please. Spill.
There's a chance her dad stepped in and paid for it after the fact, and she just chose not to refund us. I'm not clear on the exact situation and want to avoid embarrassing my brother.
Yo, people really go to extreme lengths to pay for weddings.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah,
I wouldn't do that to people. Like, these are your friends.
your family, they'll be there after the wedding.
They are your friends. Why would you do that to your friends? If they
Yeah.
were distant people that you don't even care about, maybe. But I can't imagine doing that to my
yeah.
friends and being like, oh, okay, pay for the Airbnb while someone else is paying for it.
Yeah, and the money that they paid doesn't even go to the Airbnb.
It doesn't even go to the Airbnb.
Okay, then it says update one. Thanks for all the advice and support. Yes, I agree with most of you who are saying I'm morally obligated to spill the beans because $650 is not child's
Still a
play.
lot of money.
This is what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to talk to my brother and give him a chance to clear it up with sister-in-law. Before I make a scene, I want to understand what's really going on. For example, did daddy pay for the trip, but sister-in-law decided to put that towards a different wedding expense? Things like that. That answer will determine when, how I tell the rest of the bridesmaids. I'm going to give my brother only 1 to 2 days because this trip is literally next week. Update 2. There's so many updates to this
Oh my God.
because it gets worse and worse. All right, so I regrouped with my brother. My mom also stepped in, bypassed by my brother, and got some more information directly from her dad. Here's the tea. Future sister-in-law's dad did not offer to cover the cost until a few months after we all paid for the trip.
Okay.
This was after he found out the cost and was pissed that she chose a $2,300 night house and asked us to pay. Apparently, he threatened not to pay for the wedding if she added more expenses onto the wedding party. Turns out she originally wanted it at the Maldives, and he forbid her. According to my mom, who chatted with him directly, he felt embarrassed when he heard about the Airbnb price and wanted to save face with my side of the family. So he gave sister-in-law about $7,000 to cover the cost of the house. She was
This is
supposed-
after all the girls had already paid.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 7,000. That's like what, 3, 4 nights, something like that, right? She was supposed to refund us, but obviously that never happened. This is where it gets good. So my mom went total FBI and learned that in addition to not paying us, sister-in-law didn't put the money towards a different wedding expense either. She doesn't have the money. So where did it go? What did she spend it on? There's currently a full-blown investigation going down between our two families right now.
This sounds crazy because if she got the money from the bridesmaids to pay for the Airbnb before the dad gave her money, did she book the Airbnb then when the girls gave her money, or she booked the Airbnb after the dad gave her money?
She could have gotten like the bridesmaids money and paid for the Airbnb. Then when the dad found out about like the Airbnb, she could have lied and be like, "Oh, I haven't paid it." It's like, here's seven. No, her dad said like he gave her $7,000 for that Airbnb so she can refund people. So she would have already paid for it. So that $7,000 should have gone back to like refunding the bridesmaids of that cost. So now they're finding out like the money didn't even go to any other wedding expense. She doesn't have the money. So they're trying to figure out
where she put the money.
Yeah. So the poster was like, I've been asked by my mom not to alert the bridesmaids just yet until we get the last bits of info and come to a resolution with both sister-in-law and her dad. But we'll tell them ASAP, one way or another. I will come back tomorrow with an update.
I can't wait to hear how this one ends.
Okay. Update 3. The plot thickens. So as this drama is all unfolding, the maid of honor, who doesn't know what's going on yet, is continuing her duties. We all get a 4-paragraph text from her outlining the dress code for each night of the Bachelorette, per the bride's orders. Keep in mind, the bride is asking us to go out and buy new outfits for each night of the trip.
Oh my god.
And the themes are wild. Animal print Thursday, Fall Fur Friday.
Okay, it sounds like things that you wouldn't even have in your wardrobe.
Exactly. Sparkle dress Saturday and Barbie brunch Sunday. As if we're all going to go out and buy that shit 1 week before the trip, or at all. Thankfully, the bridesmaids seem to be waking up to the BS. Several of them wrote back saying they won't be able to pull together these outfits in time. Because bear in mind, like the trip was like 1 week away
1
or
week
something
before,
like that. Yeah. And one flat out said it's just not going to happen. But that's just a side of the story to the absolute shit show that is unfolding. My mom is very involved. Can you imagine like wearing like animal print Thursday, then Fall Fur?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't own animal print.
And you know what? It really sounds like things that you wouldn't even rewear. Like, is it Full Fur Friday?
Yeah.
What would you do with that outfit after? I think you always need to ask yourself, the things that I'm asking people to buy, will they reuse these things?
And I'm assuming they're going to also pay their own bridesmaid dresses and stuff.
It sounds like
it. Sounds of it.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. My mom is very involved now as she's paid a decent chunk of this wedding as well, and does not like that the bride is throwing around thousands of dollars from her dad, as well as lying to the bridal party. She set up a meeting directly with sister-in-law to cut the BS and explain what's going on. She told sister-in-law she's going to inform the bridesmaids herself unless she gets a valid answer. At this point, I'm shoveling down popcorn waiting for the events to unfold. I'll be back tonight with hopefully a final update. She used the $7,000 to book a swan-shaped eye sculpture.
I need to see what this bride looks like. Because right now, as you're reading, I'm creating an image of what she could be looking like. Yeah. She really sounds like a big spender.
She used the $7,000 to book a swan-shaped eye sculpture to be displayed at the reception and didn't tell anybody. Turns out her dad banned her from adding any more extras to the wedding design because it was already so expensive and unnecessary. When he Venmoed her for the Airbnb, she thought she was being sneaky and kept it instead. She didn't even tell my brother this. He only found out that her dad decided to cover the Airbnb because those two went out for cigars one night and it came up.
Already keeping secrets before the wedding.
Yeah.
From your partner.
Yeah. And
who's about to be your husband.
Yeah, it's getting worse. The pressure is getting worse. It's getting worse. So that mystery is solved thanks to my mini FBI crew. But now the real question remains, where the F is my $650 and how to break the news to the bridesmaids? Out of the kindness of her soul, my mom is giving sister-in-law 24 hours to confess to the bridesmaids and figure out how to pay us back our money. Because you know what? I did not spend $650 on some damn ice. I have kids to feed. I have bills to pay. It is taking everything in me not to text the bridesmaid group right now, but my mom is trying to give sister-in-law one opportunity to do the right thing. This has been a roller coaster. Don't know if anybody here is still interested. I'm still interested. I'm locked
I'm
in.
still very logged in.
But let me know if I should post the final outcome with the bridesmaids in one last update. Lord have mercy.
Is there another update or that's it?
There's another update.
Woo!
Okay, as promised, here's the latest tea served boiling hot. This is a long update and I'm going to try and get everything in. First, let's start with the bride's explanation to her family. Myself, my mom, my brother, who's her fiance, and her dad. She broke down crying, saying that the wedding planning has been getting to her head. And she has been crushed under the pressure to have the perfect wedding, which she thought she couldn't go on without this alleged ice swan. I didn't buy her sob story. After this whole incident, I think she is delusional, controlling, attention-starving bridezilla who's using the wedding as a way to compete with other girls on Instagram. By the way, her job is influencer, if I didn't mention that yet.
Okay.
My brother took the bait. To be honest, I don't even blame him. This is his future wife, and he said he wants to help her with her mental health and get her back to a good place. He is disturbed by the situation, but will continue to support her. The wedding is on, for those who are curious. Next, let's get into the matter of the missing 7K and whether we're getting our money back. The sad, gut-wrenching answer, probably not. Her dad said he has already paid the Airbnb cost once and you will not do it again. He said his daughter is 31 and needs to get herself out of her own mess and figure out how to make it right. She chimed in that the 7K is gone and asked how she would possibly pay us back. My brother refused to pay for her screw up.
Oh, God.
While I love that everyone is finally forcing this bee to be an adult, I would like my money back more. Unfortunately, we're not going to get it unless she magically wins the lottery or gets a real job. For those that ask, there's nothing we can do legally. We all willingly paid a fixed amount and we would have to move mountains and spend more money to sue. Plus, while she was incredibly shady and a terrible friend, she technically didn't do anything wrong that we could prove. Now, on to the bridesmaids. After some threats from my mom, sister-in-law finally broke down and contacted the bridesmaids in our group chat. She sent a text that made my skin crawl. Hey ladies, you're my bride squad, and I feel so compelled to share that my dad recently offered to pay for our batch accommodations. However, being that the wedding is so expensive, I've decided to put his donation towards a wedding expense. I hope you all understand, and I can't wait to party with you all next week. Oh, hell no. I immediately replied back, making sure everyone knows that the expense was an ice sculpture, an ice swan. Come on, people. Many of them replied and expressed how they would have loved to use that $650 for something more important. But ultimately, no one has backed out. One of the girls started a side chat without the bride and asked if there's any chance of getting our money back if we force sister-in-law to cancel the reservation. Unfortunately, since we are only a week out, we aren't eligible for a refund. They decided to go through with the batch or else it would be a literal waste of $650. As for myself, I'm in the same boat. I would rather run myself over than go on this trip. But $650 is not a small amount, and I can't fathom just throwing it down the drain. I haven't made my final decision yet. If I do go, it will solely be to avoid eating the $650 plus my airfare. I will not be doing any of the planned events or outfits or contributing even $1 more. I would have my own minification as best I can. I'm really upset that it seems like this crazy person is going to have a wedding after all. So there's a little mini update after this.
What's the mini update?
In fact, there's another update, girl.
Does it get worse?
It seems to be getting worse.
I think, well, given that he's an influencer, a lot of the things make sense because I don't think any normal person would spend $7,000 on an ice sculpture. It freaking melts.
Yeah.
What's the point? It's not like you're adding $7,000 to the food budget.
Yeah.
Something that people are going to enjoy. It's an ice sculpture.
Yeah, and I was like, what you say on the gram is not true. Like, people can have the most elaborate weddings the next week they're divorced. So
yeah, I saw something on Instagram, I think yesterday, when it was saying this couple had like this lavish wedding and they broke up in 8 days.
Yeah.
Instagram is not real, guys.
It's not.
Like, don't ever get hooked on what you see on Instagram. Like, look at the lengths that people are going for them to give off that perfect wedding picture on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
It's insane. I will not be paying. I'm just like, there's so many wedding expenses. 7,000 for like something that's gonna melt. Like, nah.
Exactly. I don't mind spending on your wedding.
Yeah.
But it has to be a justified expense.
Yeah.
Like, if it's like, for example, our wedding, the main important things that Kopa and I really stressed to our wedding planner was the food is important. I love food.
Yeah.
Kopa loves food. And we genuinely want people to have an experience when it comes to food and the drinks. So it's something that we were willing to spend on.
Yeah.
So I don't mind people going all out on their wedding expenses, but it has to be something that makes sense.
I agree.
If it's an ice sculpture, are you joking?
Yeah, because I'm always like, after the wedding, then it's like, you still continue until like death do you part. So I'm like, do you have a house? Or
Exactly.
do you have
That's
property?
exactly what my dad said. He was like, do not get caught up in having a big, lavish wedding because there's still tomorrow after the wedding. You guys should invest in your life together. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It definitely does make sense. But also, if you look at it this way, many of us plan on getting married once.
That's true.
And I don't know about other girls, but I've always dreamt about my wedding day. I always had like a vision of what I wanted. I wanted a grand orchestra. I wanted to walk down from like a high staircase. I had this picture.
Yeah.
And then when you finally get it, it's really hard to control yourself and be like, okay, it's only one day. Calm down. It's only one day.
You're going to remember it forever.
Exactly. It's really hard to control yourself and be like, okay, I shouldn't really like spend too much.
Yeah.
But I think there should be like a reasonable limit of how much you're spending.
Or if it's like, I'll say like, however you use your money, it's how you use your money. But don't, like, we're talking about like people's like opinions and when their money starts trickling in and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you are responsible to honor those people.
Exactly.
As well,
Exactly. Yeah. Like, she's definitely dubious, to be honest. Like, if it was her money that she spent on the ice sculpture, very justified. It's your money, girl.
Would appreciate the ice
Exactly.
one,
We would love to take pictures with the ice one, But if it's people's money, like, she stole the money from her bridesmaids and her dad. She wasn't honest. That's a problem. But if it was her money, sure.
Yeah, but I'll be seeing that ice and be like, every drop I'm like, water. $50 for water.
Go for it.
Okay.
What's the update?
There's so many curious comments coming in, so I want to keep you in the loop. More drama has unfolded among the bridesmaids.
What could go wrong?
The side text without the bride popped off, and we all have agreed to do the following. Number 1, we will be going on the trip, but it is no longer a bachelorette trip.
It's our trip.
We will all be taking personal vacations with our hubbies, significant others, while staying at the property. We're forced into this beachfront mansion and airfare, so we're going to make the most out of it. We've all backed out of hosting and paying for the bridal shower.
Oh my
The bride will
God.
need to find another way to move forward if she wants to have it. We will attend as guests if she has it, and we will not be gifting anything. Mother of the bride is absolutely furious. More on this later. We're letting the bride know she needs to cancel the ice one and give us our money back. After some more research, we doubt all of the $7,000 went towards the alleged swan because it doesn't seem like the cost that it costs that much, right? I won't be back for a while because I want to save my next update for after this trip. Stay tuned. Fun fact, this is not one of my updates, but I thought you guys might like to know that Bored Panda picked up the story, or some YouTuber and whatnot, okay?
Ah, right.
Yeah. So we do have a few comments, right? So somebody said, I need to know if you're also paying for your own dress, shoes, makeup, hair on top of all of this.
Did she reply?
She said, yes, everything. A $350 dress. I have a whole other post about that scandal. $150 hair, $150 makeup, $200 shoes, and I haven't done jewelry yet.
Oh my.
Oh, and the bridal shower cost is being split among the 11 girls, plus the shower gifts, plus the wedding gift from me and hubby. So this is not just $650, girl.
Is this how people do weddings? Like,
Some
because I thought that like your bridesmaids can do their dresses, their hair, their makeup, their shoes.
Yeah.
But your bridal shower and your bachelorette is your cost?
Oh, so I was actually researching this the other day. And like in here, the Western world, the people who pay for the bridal shower is usually the host or like other people. It's never the bride. And I was so confused. I was like, this is not a Zimbabwean thing.
No, even back home, bridal
Yeah.
shower is usually thrown by the two moms, right? Like
Yeah.
your mother-in-law and your mother.
Do they pay for it? Because I've never experienced that.
I think they do.
Yeah.
I actually don't know. I think they do. Because I don't think your bridesmaids are supposed to throw you a bridal shower.
Some people say they actually do. Because then,
Really?
especially like if it's like your maid of honor or whatever.
I thought the bridesmaids do the
bachelorette?
bachelorette. Yeah.
Yeah. Brand is both. And I was so confused. It's like, this would be too much for anybody.
It would just be way too much. And I think people just need to be reasonable.
Yeah.
Because in as much as you want your bridesmaids to be part of your day, you need to consider the cost to them too.
Yeah.
Because you're the one who committed to the expenses of having a wedding. They didn't commit to those expenses as well. And it's really unfair that people try to then like push those costs to other people.
That's true. Yeah, because I've always been a bridesmaid, like since I was like a flower girl. Like, because I have 7 aunts, so like weddings are just like bridesmaid,
You're
bridesmaid.
experienced.
Yeah. So for me, like I never considered the cost like that because it was still like a family wedding, so we still paid for stuff and all of that. But I never really was like, oh yeah, you pay for your dress, you pay for your makeup, and that's it. Like you walk and you give, if you want to give like a lavish gift, you know, they have magumbes and everything, right? Which is, magumbes is just blankets, guys. And you just do it as like community, Ubuntu type of thing, right? Whereas here I'm just like, it's very like individualistic and then everybody has a say in everything.
I've noticed that, I don't know, like here, like in the Western world, a lot of these bridal expenses are passed on to guests and bridesmaids in this case. Because here in Australia, you pay to attend a wedding. I didn't know that.
You what?
You pay.
Since when?
Girl, I've been told like a lot of weddings, people pay like for their dinner and stuff. Like you get the wedding invite and then it will say, oh, you have to pay $100 per guest. I swear to you, a lot of African weddings, yes.
Guys, do you pay for your
Yeah, like a lot of African weddings that I have been told about here in Australia, people pay, like guests pay for dinner.
Yeah.
And I was actually saying to Kupawao, like, imagine if we would do that to people in Zimbabwe, there would be
An uproar.
an uproar. Like, people pay, like, for dinner here.
I've never heard this before.
Well, maybe people. Let's ask people. Hi guys, comment below if you know people pay for weddings here in Australia, but they do.
Yeah, because I've been to like 4 weddings here. All different nationalities, by the way. And
Have you
I've
been to an
never-
African wedding?
I haven't. Probably that's why I haven't been to. No, yeah, I have been to one African wedding.
And you didn't have to pay for dinner, like
No, it was a Zim wedding.
because I think I've heard of 3 weddings where people. I think actually one of the weddings, Charmaine told me about it.
Really?
Yeah, she told me that they had to pay like $100 or something towards the dinner.
I'll be like, I'm good. That's your wedding gift right there.
There,
$100.
that's the thing. Like, I think back home, a wedding is just like the 2 families affair.
Yeah.
They pay for everything.
Yeah. Plus, your lobola is also possibly, if the family is really good with lobolas and stuff, that money is also kind of going to the wedding in a way, to some degree.
To some degree.
Depending on the family and how they believe about lobola and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm just like, I can't imagine people having animosity and coming to my wedding. Because that's the last thing I want. Like, I don't want anybody who's not there to celebrate.
That's what I was saying to you about that girl was saying, oh, I'm going on with shimmer and body oil.
Yeah.
I just don't even want one person who has negative energy on that day.
Yeah.
Because that's like the worst thing you can have. You have spent so much money and so much energy on throwing this grand affair. To even just have one person who's there, who's not positive and for you is the worst thing.
Yeah, because then, I don't know about like other countries and nationalities, but in Zim, we really believe in the sovereignty that people will pray down for over you.
Exactly.
People will like
People will make dangerous prayers for you.
yeah, things go wrong, witchcraft, everything, whatever, you know? So the idea of just like somebody just having like a slight negative feeling, it just gives us like this like sense of like
This
nah,
chill.
like no, like in the name of Jesus, you're not coming. Like
Exactly.
So I'm very big on that because I'm like, I will 100% be praying every single day to be like, God, me, my man, my family, my bridesmaids, my guests, they're all here in your name, you know?
Yeah, it's honestly like it's scary. It's a scary world out there, especially if you're going to have a lot of people around you. That's just the one thing that's freaking me out about going back home.
Yeah.
Like having all those people around you and you don't really know what people's intentions are.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, I've been told a lot of times that don't be so naive. Not everyone is happy for you.
No.
Not everyone is there for you. No. So it just really scares me to think, a really like innocent act might not be so innocent.
No, yeah, that's something where just like you really need to be discerning about the people you have in your life. And then,
but you know what? Even if you have that discernment, Michelle, like you can't ever really be 100% sure of what someone's true intentions are.
Yeah.
I remember I saw this on Instagram, like a girl who was saying, she was posting a story. She was like, at my kuperekwa ceremony, like when the groom's family welcomes the bride into their family. She was saying at a kuperekwa ceremony, women were throwing sambias on the ground, right, for her to walk on. And apparently, she says one of the women had like a spiritual Zambia or something.
I think I've heard the story actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was saying that she started having swollen feet after that, and she was in so much pain and she was bleeding. And then she went to this pastor who then prayed over her and then said it was that person's Zambia and she had to burn everything from the wedding. Stuff like that. Yes, I'm very much Christian, right?
Yeah.
I believe that there's no power in this world that's greater than the power of God.
Amen,
But
yeah.
just the fact that those things are there, they exist. I would be stupid to not even acknowledge the fact that they're there and they
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah.
Just really freaks me out.
I agree because we believe that everything is spiritual, right?
Yeah.
And plus we've seen in the Bible that there were so many other spirits operating, like when so I'm going biblical, yeah. Like when it was around like King Saul's time, and then King Saul actually went to like a witch, and then he brought in the prophet who was the prophet who found David and who made Saul king. Remember that? I don't. Was it Samuel? Samuel, and Samuel came as a spirit, and he was. And Samuel even said to Saul, was like, "What are you doing?" type of thing. And to me, I was just like, that alone, I'm just like, there's so much going in a spiritual sense around that you just don't want to affect it, your house, your home, and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Like even when I first came to Australia, one of the first things I did with my parents, because my parents came with me, we brought in pastors from our church, and they came to into the Macquarie University Village apartments. They were there.
Which pastors? Where did you get pastors? Like,
Because I got a church called Sayoja, right?
oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
there's Sayoja here.
Oh, so the pastors came.
Yeah, so the pastors came, and we were alone in this like apartment and stuff. Yeah, because nobody was there, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, let's pray. Every single room, let's pray. And I was like, thank God, because
You really need that
you need
covering.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you never know what's going to happen.
You never know. You never know. Yo.
Yeah. Anyway, final update number 6 on this story called about financial abuse from like a bridezilla, essentially. Okay. The absolute tea I have today. It took me so long to write this because I am at a complete and utter loss for words.
Oh, God.
Where do I begin? Let me start with this. There is no ice swan. There never was an ice swan.
What do you mean?
It was all an elaborate fabrication designed to distract everyone from where the missing 7K actually went. Turns out there was a reason behind sister-in-law's luxury bachelorette location. Here's what happened. All the bridesmaids show up to the beachfront mansion without significant others. Sister-in-law had already been made aware that it was no longer a bachelorette, but to our complete shock, she was still stunned that we actually meant it. She arrived last in a pre-booked limo, absolutely fuming that no one else showed up to the limo meeting spot at the airport. She was the only one still sticking to the original itinerary. Then she was flabbergasted that the husbands and significant others were with us. It was
I
a
wish
comedy
someone
show.
was recording this and we had
best.
video evidence to see.
Absolutely. I can't remember when animators started animating this. Anyway, we went about our individual mini vacations and eventually someone realized it had been 48 hours since anyone had seen sister-in-law. I assumed she was mad and either flew home or went to stay somewhere else. Then the unthinkable unfolds.
What happened?
Sister-in-law rolls up to the driveway in a wheelchair, being pushed by 2 female nurses. The entire group jumped into action, thinking something horrible happened. Everyone ran over to see what was going on, but the nurses ushered us away and wheeled sister-in-law into her room. At this point, I'm actually very concerned. We're all banging on her door asking if she's okay.
This is 48 hours after she has been missing
Yeah.
and no one knew where she was.
In those 40, the only race after day 2,
Okay.
Okay, so at this point, I'm actually very concerned. We're all banging on her door asking if she's okay. The nurses eventually leave and say that legally can't reveal the nature of her health issue, but assure us she's fine. I call my brother and mom.
I think I know. I think I know where this is going. I think I know where this is going. Oh my God.
I call my brother and mom but get no answer, so I finally decide to call her mom, also known as the mother of the bride, who was furious that we took over the bachelorette party. Mother of the bride reveals what actually took place. She isn't sick. She didn't have a health issue. There was no accident.
Was it a
She
cosmetic
got
surgery?
her boobs done.
I knew it. I knew it had to be something cosmetic.
Yes, folks, you read that correctly. She had planned as part of the original itinerary to disappear for an afternoon and return with a set of new melons. I'm sorry, what? The location of the beachfront mansion is conveniently 5 minutes away from a very famous cosmetic surgeon's office. The reason she needed this giant ass property was not to really host 11 girls. It was to host 11 girls plus the surgery recovery nurses and
Oh
personal chef
my
she had reserved for after the
God.
operation. There's so much more that we need to unpack. I honestly don't know where to begin. What was the mother's knowledge slash involvement in all of this? What was the cost of the procedure? Guessing around 7,000. And why was it meant to be part of the Bachelorette? What was the purpose of the I swan lie? Like, what the hell? Will the bridesmaids, myself included, pursue legal action? Where does this leave my brother? Is this lady okay mentally? Was this a horribly misplaced cry for attention? Was it an FU to the bridesmaids somehow? So many questions remain. I'm only a few hours back from the trip, so this is all the information I have right now. I was intending for this to be my final update, and I just want to say thank you to all your support, advice, bags of popcorn, and
Whoa.
funny input. This has been a wild ride, and I'm glad I can share it with all of you. Okay, and she went on to say, so far we've had this crazy audio picked up by a news publication, podcasts, and a magazine, including our podcast today.
Including us. We're talking about it.
I really want to write a book about this experience. I've already reviewed a great deal of information, and so to protect my brother's privacy moving forward, I think I need to step away from the updates. I do think she has another update.
But it's just not on Reddit.
Nah. Okay, so
We need to find this girl on TikTok. Do you think she made TikToks?
I don't know if she did. But
I don't think she would, though, because people would put two and two together and figure out who the girl is.
yeah. Because I feel like I listened to this somewhere, so I think I kind of know what happened. But there are comments. Okay. Comment number 1. Are you sure your brother wasn't in on the theft? Because breast augmentation isn't exactly something you do without consultations and having someone to help you for the ensuing few weeks following the procedures. Did her mother know and she was in on it? I'm assuming father of the bride and mother of the bride are divorced. So Opi said, so far I know that my brother was aware of the procedure, but never
He was aware.
yeah, but never imagined our money went towards it. We're still figuring out exactly where the money went. Apparently, there was going to be some grand boob review during the Bachelorette, and we would all celebrate with her. I'm still
A
piecing
grand
together.
review of the melons.
Yeah,
People are insane. Oh my God.
yeah. And then she, another comment. I'm guessing she planned on paying out of pocket for the surgery. And then when the dad offered to pay for the Airbnb, she saw the dollar signs and went with it. And the OP, original poster, said, we're assuming this is most likely what happened. I'm still piecing together details about when the hired staff became involved. But at the very least, we think she saw an opportunity for free money towards the procedure one way or the other. Yeah. So there's another one.
Another update?
There would have been another update. But let me look for it because this was long. Because the update I personally found was crazy. Because I can't find it here for some reason. Alright. So essentially, after the girl gets the boob job done and everything, right? OP then later finds out the surgeon and the girl were having an affair.
Get out.
Yeah.
The surgeon and the girl were having an affair.
Yeah. They were having
She
an
was
affair.
cheating on her fiance.
With the surgeon who did her boobs.
Oh my God.
And this surgeon is apparently really big on like in TikTok and stuff. So
Yeah.
the OP was just like, I can't reveal so much information.
Yeah.
Because lawsuits can get involved with
Yeah.
the surgeon because it's threatening me
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the surgeon is married. Yeah.
I need to see pictures and videos of all this. I swear to you, after this, I'm going to be going on TikTok to really like find out
it?
who the people are.
Yeah.
It's crazy. She wasn't even really in love with this guy.
No. Not at all. So obviously the wedding is off because the brother found out and was like, nah, I'm
It
out.
it really makes sense. You know what? It makes sense that that could happen
Yeah.
because I feel like a lot of the times when people try to put on a show, there's really something that they're hiding or like they're really just trying to put on a facade. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like once you like she went to get her boobs done, she was saying she's getting an eye sculpture, like she really wanted to put on this like grand affair thing, and it really gets you to wonder, is it just all about a wedding and love, or is there really something else going on?
Yeah. So this is pretty much what we thought about the promise ring was like, I don't care about grand gestures because you never know with grand
You
gestures, you
never
know?
know. Exactly. My mom always used to say, men who do too much, you need to question yourself. What is he hiding?
Yeah.
And I always used to be like, you know, but as you grow older, you actually start to realize that it's true.
But what is too much?
Girl, you know too much.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, let's say gifts every day, takes every second. Like, you know, that obsessive compulsive,
Yeah.
I think I would wonder that what is he doing?
Really?
I actually once dated a guy who was too much.
Yeah.
And I realized that during the whole time that I was dating him, he was dating someone else. Girl,
Really?
like this guy would do anything and everything.
Yeah.
Like I would text, I'm really craving Nando's, and he would get it. Or,
Yeah.
I really feel like going on a trip, and he would do it.
Yeah.
Like the guys that do too much, and that just confirmed, like, I never used to believe what my mom had said that,
Yeah.
oh, you know, if he does too much, you need to question
Don't
that.
worry. That's a
And
good
then when
thing.
I dated that guy and I realized that he was cheating on me the whole time, I was like, makes sense. He used to do too much.
He was guilty.
He was
He's feeling
guilty.
guilty.
Because I feel like it's a cover up. He really has to make sure that you don't sense anything, that you don't feel that there's something off.
Yeah. Like I appreciate like I grew up in a very strict household, so this whole dating thing, like I was not allowed to date, like all growing up and everything. So in a way, I kind of appreciated that, but then at the same time, I'm just like it it probably hindered me a little bit, but at the same time, like the more I get older, I'm like, you know what? If I have my kids, they can't date in high school because
Why?
there's no like why you're gonna meet somebody at uni and something like that. Like high school is
Michelle, you're joking. You wouldn't let your kids date in high school?
but I'm just basing this from my
Yeah.
experience.
Do you think that you not dating in high school was a good thing for you, or
It was a mixture. Yeah, because my mom watches this podcast, so I'm being careful
okay.
with what I say as well. I mean, if I'm not careful, sorry, mom.
Sorry, mom, disclaimer.
Yeah, yeah. But I personally feel like when you're young and you get your heart broken young, it can affect like you in terms of like how you view yourself, your
Yeah.
security and all of that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, at least when you're 18, that's still better than when you're like 14, my honest, when you're 15. Like I want you, I'd want my daughter or my son to understand who they really are and what they want. Because let's be real, like if you have, how many people actually marry their high school sweethearts? Very rarely, right? How many people have horrible memories of their high school relationships and like a lot of people because I generally didn't know myself until like honestly 25. Like I didn't know what I liked, what I didn't like, what I should look for. I only had the guidelines set up by my parents. Like my dad used to take me on like daddy daughter dates. And that's what he showed me as an example of what to expect from men. And without that example, because I've seen like some of my friends struggle, and I'm like, why are you with this guy? He treats you like trash. He's not being consistent. Because my dad was the first person to show me what consistency is like, what to expect from a
A
guy.
guy.
you know. So for me, I was just like after like for me, as long as like from 18 onwards, you can start to slowly like date. I'm not talking about like because you know like my mom was like, don't date until you finish your bachelor's. I'm like, that's not happening. Like for real. Like I'm just like, so you
Yeah,
don't want me to get married type of
it's
thing.
it's it's interesting you say that. I don't know. I feel like, well, my parents were also really strict, right?
Yeah.
But I think I had my first boyfriend in high school in Form 3.
Yeah.
I think I was 16,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. And to be honest, I feel like dating before I met my fiance really makes you
The
appreciate
person.
the person that you finally get.
Yeah.
Like, in as much as they were horrible experiences, it teaches you a lot of things that you wouldn't learn from just dating that final person. Do you get
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, it teaches you to, it teaches you the signs to look out for, the red flags. It teaches you like patience and tolerance and, compromising, like we were saying.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah, they were frogs. A lot of them were really bad frogs, but I had to kiss frogs before I met the Prince Charming. And I wouldn't change it
Yeah.
because they were invaluable experiences.
Yeah, I agree with you because I'm thinking back to like my own past and stuff. I'm like, you know what? As much as I'm like never again in my life,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like right now they've prepared me to be the right person for the right
Yeah, yeah,
person, you
yeah.
know? And I'm always like, I'm thankful to like the ex-girlfriends and stuff because I'm
Yeah.
like, thanks.
Yeah.
You are the project.
Yeah,
You are the project. I'm
exactly.
not.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
that's the thing because I'm like, because at some end, like depending on people's experience, because I know like there's some people out there who've like just met that one person, they've been together forever, and you're just
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I love that. But then when you go in and like you know yourself and what you had to like do, the people you had to experience before reaching your final stage, that's when like for me, that's when I'm like, you know what? There's some things I would have appreciated to like avoid altogether,
Yeah.
despite meeting like my partner and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I would have avoided like this whole high school relationship thing. I
Yeah.
would have
Yeah.
loved to really have avoided it, but more so in the sense of like not in a strictness, like do not do this. Because not only were my parents strict, I also went to a very strict Christian school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very strict Pentecostal American Christian school as
Yeah.
well. So things like promise rings were like shoved down my throat, like promise ring, you only have a promise ring for God. All of that, things like that. I grew up around. I saw like friends sneaking out with with their boyfriends at the time. Teachers finding out. Teachers like literally being the most. Friends getting suspended and stuff
Yeah.
because it was such a toxic environment. Whereas I'm just like now I'm like my opinion is like, just save yourself the trouble because like scientifically probably gonna break up with that person.
Yeah.
You don't know yourself. You don't know yourself until you're 25, in my opinion, because that's when your frontal lobe fully develops and
Develops.
stuff.
Yeah.
So save yourself as much as possible from that heartache because nobody wants to have a heartache young, and I know nobody wants to have a heartache old because can you imagine having a heartache and going to work tomorrow?
Imagine being a 30-year-old with that, like, for the first time.
And you're like, dang, I have bills to pay. You can't just sleep. You can't just be like, oh, I want to sleep. I'm depressed. Tomorrow you have to go to work 9 to 5. You have to
Yep.
show up. You have
The
bills.
bills have to be paid.
Your rent is due.
Yeah.
Like you have real life going on, right? Like you don't want to experience heartache all at the same time.
Yeah.
But I always feel like God has you in every single step of the way. He knows you so intricately well that's like, this is the path I have for you, like this is the person. And sometimes we deviate towards that and we make our own paths, and that's when we bring our own heartaches because we decide to be like, no, God, I don't want to listen to your plan.
Yeah.
And all of that. But I always feel like God puts back everything together to be like, even though you've gone left, you've gone right, you're still ultimately going to where God really wants you to
If
be, you
it's
know?
if it's for you, no matter how many times you run away from it, you will always end up with that thing.
Yeah.
Like it's not just relationships, it's jobs, it's everything. If it's
Yeah.
for you, no matter how many times you try to avoid it, no matter how many times you deviate from it, you will always end up with it.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Yeah, and I think this is pretty much kind of like the ending. There's so much we can talk
Girl,
about. We can talk about jobs.
we can go on and on and on.
Yeah, so let me know, guys, in comments if you want Faith back. I hope she comes back,
I'll be
know?
back. Invite me back, guys. I really enjoyed just chilling on the couch and talking. Yo, podcasts are so easy, huh? I don't even have to do anything. I just have to sit on a couch, have a mic on my face, and be
And you just
talking.
talk. Yeah. Yeah. And guys, feel free to check out her YouTube. She has done so many videos on
Yeah, don't put people.
moving to Australia as well.
Don't.
You've done videos on visas as well, slightly.
Yes, I've done like, you know what, like I noticed that on YouTube, a lot of my videos that were more about like moving to Australia, what to expect, visas, applications, are the videos that actually used to do well.
Yeah.
And like videos that were just about like my everyday life would not do well as much as the videos that were just like about migrating to Australia. So it seems like a lot of people are just keen on knowing the process and stuff. But apparently now it's really hard to come to Australia.
Yeah, because they're kicking out international students. The
Yeah.
migration is intense, and
Yeah, it's tough times here in
yeah,
Australia.
I will talk about it in a different episode because I'm like, yeah, it's hard out here for
You
people.
definitely should. Like, I think you should definitely like just give people an update on what's going on in Australia and just how hard the process is now. Because
Yeah,
I feel like people who came here 7 years ago, it was so easy. Now,
really, I feel like you're saying this because so I guess for people to understand more, you studied accounting,
yeah,
um, bachelor's. You're
yeah.
not doing masters, are you? Or was it
No,
just
I didn't.
Cooper?
I didn't do my master's in accounting, but I did chartered accounting, so I did CA.
Yeah. So in a previous episode, I was talking to a guest, and she also did accounting as well. And I was just like, the one thing I wish I did was really understand the skills list coming
Yeah,
into
yeah.
this country. Because accounting, no matter where the economy turns, no matter what
You will
policy,
always need an
you will
accountant.
always need an
Yeah,
accountant, and it will always be a high demanding job
yeah.
for migration purposes as well. Whereas I studied international business. I loved it. I traveled the world with that degree. But it's such an abstract degree that it wasn't on any list to be like, what do you do with the international
Yeah,
business? Can
yeah,
you do accounting? I'm like, yeah, I did a bit of accounting. Can you do things? And it's like you need to specialize in
yeah.
something to be in on it. So for me, like your 7 years may have been easier. For me, I was just like, my 7 years was a little
Girl,
bit
no,
more,
it wasn't
yeah,
easy. But comparing, like what you're saying, comparing someone who did international business and someone who did accounting, both of those routes, not easy, but one
nah, yeah,
route is easier. Like
yeah,
if you did accounting, like you're saying, definitely it will be easier for you to get a job. And then once you have a job, you're building your experience for, the points that you need to generate for you
yeah.
to be able to, yeah. So it's easier, but it's not easy.
Yeah, because Sean does accounting, yeah. I saw like I woke up like literally 2 days ago, yeah. I woke up at like 4 a.m. or something because I was just like, I need water. She's there, she's getting dressed to go out. I'm like, what, where are you? Because like I work. I'm like, it's 4 in the morning. What work do you have at
Where is
4 in the
she
morning?
working?
PwC.
They work from 4 a.m. in the morning.
I don't know what steroids she was on, whatever she was on. She was just like 4 a.m. I'm getting ready, I'm getting dressed, I'm about to go. And she wouldn't come home until like 10, 11 p.m.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, I love my job. I love my career. I love my colleagues and my bosses. but I don't love them enough to work to 4 a.m.
Jeez.
for
Yeah,
them like
that's the
that.
thing. That's the thing with accounting too. Like, it depends which area you're working in and
Yeah.
what firm you work for. If you're in the big four, definitely you're going to be working crazy hours.
Yeah.
But then if it's like mid-tier firms, like I work for a mid-tier firm, if it's mid-tier firms or you're working commercial, you wouldn't really have to be working crazy hours.
Yeah.
You can still chill and have a life. I mean, I'm here. We're chilling.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because I was like, I wanted to do, I was like, should I do a, because I did my kind of minor in finance. So I was really like, I was like, finance, accounting, not sure which one to do. But my heart was always been like creatives as
Yeah, yeah.
well. So I'm like, marketing, absolutely. And in marketing, I'm like, marketing is crazy in its own way. But I have so much flexibility that I'm like, thank the Lord that I chose a career that gives me so much flexibility
Yeah, yeah.
to do what I want to do,
Yeah.
and everything. But yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard being a migrant, I guess. And it's good that you guys have this podcast to sort of like give people an idea of what it's like
Yeah.
and what to avoid and what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I guess with that note, guys, we'll let you go and thank you so much for joining
Oh, thank you
in.
so much for having me. And I can't wait to be back if people request for me. So definitely request for me, guys,
They'll
to be back.
100% will. That's right. Bye, guys. Woo.
Bye, guys.